Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, welcome! Woo! Hey, it's the Genesee County Compassion Club show.
Halloween edition.
That's right.
Yeah.
Coming to you live from flinttalkradio.com. Check us out on ustream.tv. Man, it is day before Halloween.
Nice and chilly out.
Not too bad. Almost
nice.
60 degrees.
Feels good.
I'm glad trick-or-treaters won't have to be catching pneumonia and stuff. Here's some candy. Here's some pneumonia. Here's some antibiotics.
I want some candy this year.
Yeah, you gonna go out trick-or-treating?
I'd like to.
Well, I see
nice.
that Beaners is already dressed up there for the show.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Check him out.
Beaner's got a hold of Red Bull today.
El Taco.
He's got his wings.
He's got
Little bat chihuahua.
He's so cute.
Here, Beans smells up here. Yes, he's grunting and groaning. He's getting old in his age.
Does he have like an accent today? Don't tell the kids. I'm gonna take their candy.
You're like a Mexican Batman.
Yeah.
Which I can't do, so I'm not going to try to slaughter it. Yes.
He's looking good.
Oh, yeah. What, in dog years, 6 years for every 1 year?
6 or 7? I think 7 years.
So he's a golden girl. If he was a girl, he's a golden guy. There you go.
I like to see his expression when he put all that clothing on him. I wonder how he's looking.
Dude, he digs it.
Oh, yeah.
He likes the coolness.
I think it's probably because he needs something to keep him warm.
And I mean that the coolness like the Fonz.
He seems
Just to
like
clarify.
Yes. Hey.
Can you hear now?
That's much better.
Yeah, it's like.
Hey.
I'm lefty or dominant, though. I gotta switch it around. There we go.
I was gonna say, I always thought that dog was amazingly tolerant. You know.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty tolerant, but he's also just super adorable, and it's all part of it. You gotta have an adorable dog. If you got a dog that hates itself, it's like, man, I'm not adorable at all. He's not gonna be friendly. You know?
A dog that hates himself. I haven't heard of that before.
Doggy shrinks, you know.
Yeah.
Chad knows he spent a lot on doggy shrinks in the past. You know?
Psychotherapy for the canine.
Hey, as long as I'm not doing dog shows, you're all good. Those dog show people are kind of weird. And I've heard that from people who do dog shows.
Okay, dog show people are weird coming from a guy who's got his dog dressed up like Batman.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is very laid back right here. This is very restrained for what a dog show, like one of those professional dog show people who go out and do like the show, actually they run around with the dog in the circle. Yeah, those people there are quite, they treat their dogs even more like a kid than I do. Like, more like it's their companion or something. It's kind of weird.
I can imagine the pressure. I bet the dog's cracking under all that pressure. You know.
Have you ever seen that movie, Best of Show?
No.
What?
No, I've never seen that one. It's pretty good.
You gotta check it out, Best of Show. It's got a bunch of good actors in it that you'd like.
Good Kinnear.
Yeah, good comedian crew. What other movies did they do that was the same groups? There was another movie out that was like, I can't remember. It's got Eugene Levy and all them in it. But it just goes to show like how crazy like some of those people can be about their dogs. This one lady, she freaks out and is like beating her husband and stuff pretty much because he lost the one little toy, like Mr. Bumbles or something like that. It was this little bee, and the dog has to have the little toy bee, like the little squeaker bee. He goes and finds like all these other toys at every other pet store, and she gets all mad that he bought those because none of them work. And like it just is like the whole show. It's like an incident about this little squeaker toy and like how enraged this lady's getting over it.
But the dog doesn't really seem to care.
Yeah.
They're more upset about it than the dog is.
It's definitely an interesting movie. You have to check it out.
But you ever notice, though, I mean, I'm not neurotic about dogs, but I notice if somebody says something negative about my dog, I have a tendency not to like that person any longer. You know, it's like, you insulted my dog. You know, that's like my kid. You know, I don't do that. I know it's stupid. Member. I know it's not rational, but I still do it, you know. Like when people say my dog's a corgi. They're stocky little dogs, you know.
Yeah.
Your dog's so fat. I went, my dog's perfect weight for her size. She's 22 pounds, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And she works out. I mean, she goes 5 miles a day, you know. And that kind of insults me, you know. It's like I'm finding myself saying, she's not fat. No, I'm all pissed off about it, you know. And I am for the next day, you know. I just stupid, you know. But you do get tired of the
You sending him hate mail?
Oh, yeah. My dog's not fat, a-hole. No.
You gotta teach the dog to pee in people's shoes. Like on command. So you can just be like, want to talk about my dog? Then when you know what's going on, the dog would just go over there and pee in the shoes. They wouldn't even know it.
You just get personal and pee in them yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just happy when I get my dog to come to me when I call. So, I mean, the teacher to pee on cue is really beyond my hope, I don't have any hope of that.
Man, Beaner used to do that when I was a little kid. Not a little kid, but when I was younger. Sorry, a little kid. When I was younger. Well, I was younger. I was in my 20s, early 20s. This dog, he would get all jealous if you don't spend time with him. And, he would get mad. And he'd pee in your shoe in the morning. You'd wake up and go stick your foot in the shoe or your flip-flop, and he'd pee in it. And it was always my shoe because he knew my smell. So, one day I got super mad. He did that. I took him, I threw him in the shower, and I just peed on him.
Oh, no. He did not just say that.
He never peed in my shoe again.
It's weird. It's weird stuff like that does.
We're definitely getting a call from Peter.
Peed on that one.
And a lot of other organizations, I'm sure.
Not in a weird way. I mean, okay, if your dog peed in 10 pairs of your shoes.
Dude, you went R. Kelly on your dog.
They kept marking his territory. Even one of the vets I talked to was well, he's marking his territory. You gotta show dominance. And I was so sick of it, 23 years old. And I'm what the hell? This dog is not peeing in my shoe anymore. It's done. Got him. He never did it after that.
You got him as a puppy?
Yeah.
Oh, no. How old is you? How old is he now?
He's almost 10.
Okay.
Actually, he is 10. Yep, he is 10 now.
They can live for a long time, those chihuahuas.
Oh, yeah, he'll live for a long time. He's my little buddy. This dog gets, treated better than most humans do.
That's why I treat my dog better than most kids do.
As long as he's not peeing in my shoe anymore.
Yeah, kids would do that too, though, I think. But you can't piss on them. They're really.
No, I want to touch that one. We won't even go down that one. No. I don't want to recommend that either for people that I just was fed up with him peeing in my shoes. Vet said show dominance. Didn't seem to work. Anything else I did, so it worked. Well, it's kind of like when they keep eating their poo. You're supposed to go out there and fill their holes in with poo, and then put water in it and let them go out there and stick their face in it, and it's supposed to really mess up their sinuses with all the other poo smells. So by forcing them into something like that, with the dominance thing with smells and that's how the dogs learn not to eat their own poo. It's kind of weird. Also, dig holes too. They do the same thing.
I thought that was a trick to keep them from digging holes.
Well, they do it for both. They do it if it's eating poo. You pour all the water in there too with the poo, and you pile it up with poo. So that way they also stop eating poo.
See, we branched off from medical marijuana to dog training tips now.
Yeah, I'm not a good dog trainer. I luckily have a fellow friend of mine who's an awesome dog trainer who actually has done wonders. He's got some amazing dogs. One dog was actually used in Hurricane Katrina for finding dogs, or for finding humans, sorry. Found I think it was 71 humans down there in Hurricane Katrina, which is pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's real good.
No, I'm a sap when it comes to dogs. If I see somebody mistreating a dog, my hackles are more than up. I want to kill them.
Oh, yeah. I can't even spank a dog. I don't even believe in doing that. I believe in timeouts or something
I smacked mine the other day because she was eating a chicken. Somebody threw out some garbage, and there was chicken bones in it, and I didn't want her to get that because that causes major problems. Problems. So I tried to get away from her, and she snapped at me. So I smacked her in the butt really hard, and I felt bad afterwards. But I tried to get that away from her. I couldn't let her.
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt. Chicken bones are bad.
Well, they get caught in the intestinal tract. It's horrible. They could perforate it.
Yeah, it could kill them.
Yep.
It's
puncture them.
Not a good thing at all.
Man. So, hey, did you have fun at the soup kitchen?
Dude, I had a blast at the soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Soup kitchen was spectacular.
John, you missed it, man. The soup kitchen was amazing. We had fried chicken. They had sliced watermelon. We had macaroni and cheese. Peach cobbler.
Homemade mac and cheese.
Yeah, all this was homemade, too.
I was going to say, you guys actually don't just dump boxes together and heat it up.
No, this is all homemade.
Yeah, homemade mac and cheese and also green bean casserole. And we had a chef.
Master Chef.
Yes.
Master Chef Bernash.
Master Chef Bernash. And his little son also was there. Little junior Bernash. He was the second chef in charge. And I know all of us helped out. We threw a hand in once in a while here and there. I knew Blueberry Bob always kills it on the dishes there. Actually, the dishwasher that's on staff when we get there is yes. They love it when we show up because the guy knows that Blueberry is going to come back and be like, hey, let me go and take this over for you. And the guy looks at Blueberry well, what do you want me to do? Well, just go there and sit down. He gets a break. And so actually it seems like everyone gets a break when we come in there because from what I understand, a lot of people when they come in, they're helping out with the people that are working. So most of the stuff's already prepped. It's more or less just like, let's get our volunteers to help with other things we need. You know what I'm saying? While we're getting this stuff ready, and then they can serve. Well, with us, when we go in there, it's kind of like, well, let's just take over the kitchen and cook. So, like, people that are there, they get to go off and do the other things that we normally do that work there. And so it's kind of cool. It's like a little bit opposite than most people, I guess. But it's kind of cool. We get to cook our own food.
Yeah, and I think we had like almost 80 people come in and eat.
I bet you the word gets out, when Genesee County Compassion Club's in there, in the house, it's going to be like quadruple their normal attendance. People showing up because you guys do actually go the extra,
That's why we can't announce when we're going down there till, like, the day of. If we let it know too early, we already had it pretty bad. Like, there's people in the lines, like, pulling out their cell phones and, like, texting everyone, like, come on down to the soup kitchen. It was like that. When they came in and saw that there was fried chicken, and you could smell it in the air, like, I'm not lying. Like, I tried my piece of fried chicken. Like, we all got a piece of fried chicken and a little bit of everything else on there because, you had to ration it out. And I swear, I was not, like, complaining. I was so happy to have what I was given because it was so delicious. Like, every bit of everything I ate, especially that peach cobbler. That's probably one of the best cobblers I've ever had.
That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's like all the butter that goes in that pan in the beginning before he puts all the other stuff in there is just like, oh. You just know. Like, I hear my ass getting bigger every time I eat that stuff. But I just know that, like, my belly's getting so much happier.
That's why you wear steel-belted jeans when you're doing the soup kitchen duty, right? So you can just let it go.
Oh,
you don't have
yeah.
to worry about the calories. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Well, sometimes you just gotta enjoy what's around you. And Burn Ash's secret recipe for that stuff is amazing. This chicken too is that. Yeah, your secret recipe, Burn Ash, on point, bro. On point.
Oh, for sure. And the green bean casserole. I don't even usually eat green bean casserole, and that stuff was awesome.
With corn.
Corn and I don't even know.
The chicken was so good. We had people coming up and they would eat their chicken off their bone, and they come back up in line and be like, "Hey, I don't think my chicken had any chicken on it." And you're like, "What?" Looking at it, and you're like, "Where'd the meat go?" I don't know. The meat wasn't there. Like, that genius of an idea to get more chicken. I was impressed. I was like, "Yeah." Because, a couple of them actually serve because they're a little, you find stuff. So you get a couple pieces that are a little overcooked here and there, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of the meat falls off in the process and someone else gets it. Well, there was a couple pieces, who might have not have had as much chicken as they, should have got right off the get-go. And they all got taken care of. But it was pretty crafty when the one guy came up there and he literally, like, you could see the bite marks all over the chicken. Like, this one didn't have more chicken meat either. It was pretty good, though. And I think next one we're going in November, so we're going to be doing a Thanksgiving one, hopefully.
Fantastic.
I can't tell your exact date out in the open here because we'll have so many people showing up. But we do have some dates coming up, though, for the soup kitchen. If you're at the club, you should be looking around right now. If you go to the signs on the door, we have soup kitchen signs up. I think it has, like, the next 4 soup kitchens in a row. And let me see here. All right. Yes, if you're at the club, you're going to want to go look at the signs and see the date for the next soup kitchen. I don't want to announce it over the podcast yet because it is going to be a bomb dinner, and I just can't flood us. I'm sorry, but the next one after that will be Saturday, December 28th, which will be after Christmas. So after you get to celebrate Christmas and have all your good family times and eat all your good foods, you get to come in on the 28th and help give some awesome meals and some good treats to some other people also. So that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, more soup kitchens coming up, guys. If you keep looking at around the club, there is signs up. They'll always have dates up there. Usually this one here has 4 dates in a row up there. It is once a month again. Besides the soup kitchen, other stuff coming up. The food drive's coming up. The food drive starts in December, right? Or is it November? November. Starts in November. When you come in, you need to bring one canned item or a $1 to enter. And folks, if you don't have a can, it doesn't matter because that $1 goes way farther than 1 can of food. I know I keep saying that. So if you have cans and you want to clean them out. But then after that, don't go to the store and buy any more. Save your time and money and just bring $1. Like I said, your $1 will go a lot further to help out people in their end because they can have more buying power with that $1 than we do. And having to go all the way to Kroger just buy a few cans, you're probably going to spend $1 or more a can. So, yeah. So save your energy. I mean, I even saw some people last year go buy some cans, like some nice stuff, like Progresso soups and stuff. Like, ooh, that is nice, but for $4 or $3 a can.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Soup Kitchen is gonna be able to turn around and get probably 6 cans of food for that.
No, yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, if not more. It's pretty intense on their buying power. Also coming up here, we have our 3rd annual... Oh, you know what? Let me go back one. I'm sorry, guys. Jumping ahead. Here we go. We have G3C Halloween Party, which is Friday, this November 1st. It's from 2 to 9 p.m. Halloween potluck starts at 2 p.m. Bring a dish to pass. Sorry, my camera got real blurry. Doesn't that suck? Like, look at everything else is clear except for right when they got to the left side of the words.
Let me see here.
You can see it?
Kind of.
All right.
You have to cross my eyes. You cross my eyes. Let's see here. Halloween potluck starts at 2 p.m. Bring a dish to pass.
There you go. Bring a dish to pass.
Yeah. We're having a dice game at 4 o'clock. Looks like we're also having a joint rolling contest at 5 o'clock. And then we're having a hot doobie, which is like hot potato except for the doobie.
Nice.
Sounds like a fun game. That's at 6. And then there'll be the Halloween costume judging. It'll be at 7:30. So come on November 1st. That's this Friday. Down to the club. Of course, be open until 9 p.m. Bring costume, wear costume. Plan to have some fun, some relaxation, some good times.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Beaner might have the best costume.
He wins.
He's got about 4 or 5 of them.
Pause down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to keep coming and switching them out.
Oh, yeah.
Like a stage performer.
He does. He's literally got a couple of them now. He's a big banana. He's got a crab. He's got a bunny. He's got the Batman. He's got a full hunter outfit, an Elmer Fudd outfit.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty groovy. So what happens when you go to PetSmart after the season, you buy everything at, like, closeout clearance.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Save
the way to do it.
75%. You gotta wait till after they go half off. You know, you just gotta be patient. And the secret is to hide the stuff. You find the stuff you want, and you stick it in the very back of the rack, or you stick it in the back of the treat rack. Yes, it sounds scandalous, but you're still gonna buy it. So you're at least helping out.
See, then you come back a week later and it's marked down. Is that it?
Oh yeah. Well, the other ones are. That one's hidden, so it won't be marked down itself.
Okay.
But the other ones are, so they all go together. Yes. How to pinch a penny in America nowadays, guys.
There you go. Because buying dog Halloween costumes is practical anyway.
If you don't have kids, you know.
Right on.
I'm sure it's much cheaper than a kid costume.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Or candy for the kids, you know, all that stuff. I'm coming out ahead here.
And actually, I guess most of the dog treats now have some kind of a recall going on them. So
do they really?
yeah, a lot of them do.
Oh,
Sausages and begging strips.
Oh, see, I get screwed.
2 of them right there. There's a whole list of them.
I get pretty much screwed on this stuff because Ava's so allergic to everything that she can only eat real meats, like the meat treats.
With the cost of those things nowadays, you're almost better off just going to the meat section and buy some marked down meat or whatever. Get a ham hock, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cook it up, save it.
Yeah.
You can save it for like a week, pretty much. Chop it up real fine with some rice. You know what I'm saying? Some brown rice is real cheap. Dogs like brown rice.
Brown rice.
You know, crack an egg over that.
Ba-boom.
Some dog food's expensive.
Yeah.
You can do that for cheaper. Like he's saying the treats, I think a small bag of treats for Ava, if I were to actually buy a bag of treats for her,
like $4 or $5.
Oh yeah, right. More like $10.
Really?
Yeah, for like Blue Buffalo, for the organic stuff that you have to have for dogs with allergies.
Jeez.
That's why, like you're saying,
you could get that dog like three bags of Doritos.
Well, it's just cheaper to buy her like organic, or not organic, but natural, foods and stuff like meats and stuff like you're saying. Like go get actual leftover meats from the butcher. You can go get leftover red meat, like cuts and stuff like that. Some of the scraps. You can only buy it for like $1 a pound, or less sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The scraps.
Yeah, and I doubt you're getting a pound of food in that little snack bag.
No. Just stick it in the grill in the morning. Sit there, stir it up a little bit. Throw a bit of olive oil in there. And you got little shredded up treats for the day.
There you go.
Yeah, much cheaper, much more affordable, and probably way healthier for them.
Yeah, definitely healthier.
Yeah, because I highly doubt they actually really care too much about the stuff they put in dog food as much as they do human food.
There's a big recall going on right now on a bunch of different dog snacks.
Yeah.
So if you've got those laying around the house, you might want to check that out first before you give it to your pet.
Yeah, so if you don't know what ones they are, because I don't, hop online.
Like I said, I already listed a couple. There's sausages, and I know bacon strips are on the list. There's a long list, so we can't really get
Bacon
them all through.
strips, man.
Yeah, you believe it?
I like those. Those are good. Haven't you ever tried them?
No.
Oh, dude, they taste just like a bacon strip.
They probably do. They smell like bacon, I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah. They really do, too.
And they look like the bacon you get at the salad bar.
It does.
Looks just like that.
Mm-hmm. It probably is the same stuff, too.
Probably is. All right, we got any other events coming up at the club?
Yes. 3rd annual G3C Chili Cook-Off. That is Saturday, November 2nd, so it will be this coming up weekend. We'll have Friday, we'll have the Halloween party. Saturday will be the Chili Cook-Off. And that'll be from 12:30 to 4 p.m.
Awesome.
The prizes awarded to the first and second place winning entries. $5 fee to judge and sample all entries. There will be two separately judged categories. You got traditional, any chili that does not contain starch, which is beans, pasta, or any of that kind of stuff that's you consider like a carbohydrate. 2 would be non-traditional, any chili that contains beans. Yeah, non-traditional would be anything that contains whatever you want in it. Like a freestyle chili. You could have all your beans, your pasta. You could put potatoes, whatever you want in there. You could starch it up.
Starch it up.
You can starch it up.
Your chili will stand on its own.
Yes. That's a pretty good idea. And so you're going to want to also remember to bring chili in a crock pot with a warmer so you can serve it. Some spoons, ladles, whatever you need to serve it with. If you're bringing a spoon and ladle and you plan on setting the spoon down somewhere, it's always smart to bring like a little one of those little, I don't know what you call it, little ladle savers. Every woman has them on their stove.
A lid.
Or a lid or something. Well, not a lid because someone put the ladle on. Like, so you want to put the ladle just on the table. I know I always bring like a spoon or a ladle, and I'll bring like the crock pots, and I'll never bring something to put my spoon on.
Spoon
so
rest.
like set it on top or
A spoon rest.
A spoon rest.
a spoon rest.
Yeah.
There you go. Technical word. Bring a spoon rest if you have one for your stuff, so that way you don't have a dirty spoon. You know, who wants a dirty spoon in their nice, awesome chili they just made?
Right.
I just know most guys are probably making chili, and I know
Chili etiquette.
I
dude.
myself never remember that kind of stuff.
Chili
and
etiquette.
cheese, in that stuff. If you need that kind of stuff, you're gonna want to bring your own. There will not be cheese or sour cream provided, or crackers. So if you need it, bring it. Now, if you bring crackers as part of your chili, is that consider it as a starch?
It's not in the chili.
All right, cool.
If you put it in the chili, then yeah.
I got you.
Unless they're like gluten-free crackers.
There you go.
Oh.
That'd be pretty slick. What if you brought gluten-free pasta in your chili?
It's still pasta.
But it's gluten-free, so
It's pasta, though.
all right, got you.
Yeah.
It's technically, yeah.
Plus, that stuff doesn't taste very good, so
No, it doesn't.
get the gluten kind.
It's just rice.
It's the glute.
Wait, no. So you could put rice in your chili then?
I think rice is a starch, isn't it?
No.
No?
Rice is what you eat if you have gluten-free. Well, actually, no. Rice is a starch, but you eat it if you have gluten allergies. My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just.
That'll go in the non-traditional.
Yeah. There you go. It is a starch. My
There's
bad.
still a category for you out there. These people that like rice in your chili. I think that's like anti-American right there.
It would be like
Rice in the chili.
It'd be like wedding soup. Italian wedding soup.
Sure.
Like little tiny meatballs and like the chili and not chili with little rice floating around. You ever see that stuff?
No.
Yeah, it's not really good, but
Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all.
it's not the best. But
All right. What else? Anything else?
nothing on top of my head right now.
I think that's
What
it.
you got?
Events. That's good. That's good, man. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that chili cook-off,
Me too.
Halloween party.
I love chili, especially when it's getting chilly out.
Well, for those who've been keeping track, we've got a special election coming up here for our state representative in the 49th district, which does
What?
include part of Genesee County. It's like Flushing.
And Nick's old spot, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Our Representative Jim Ananick stepped up to the Senate there, left a gap in the House, and so now this is a vacant seat. So a special election coming up here for the 49th District. So if you're in Swartz Creek, Flushing, that side of the county, basically, to the west there is an election coming up here, and looks like there's 3 different candidates out there. There was a recent debate that was held, and the marijuana question came up, medical marijuana, and they got a kind of a feedback for each one of the candidates here. So I'm reading here from the answers that were reported on MLive. The 3 different candidates, I'll give you their names. Last name is Clausen, another candidate is Pfeiffer, and the other candidate is Phelps. So these are the 3 main candidates here. And it looks like we've got some varied responses, but a couple of them are fairly positive. So check this out. Representative, or I guess I don't want to call him representative yet, candidate Clausen. This is their response, and the question was posed was how and are you willing to protect the medical marijuana patient of Michigan? So candidate Clausen, this is the response they gave. Response is, not only would I support the medical marijuana patient and do everything possible to protect them, I actually favor in this state to legalize the use of marijuana in this state to use for personal recreational purposes, and I see no reason why marijuana should be illegal at all anymore in this country. I think we need to end drug prohibition, period. Let's get this stuff out of the shadows. Let's get this stuff into the marketplace where it can be regulated or even taxed to some extent by government. And I see no reason why we should be even having this conversation about marijuana. It should just be available, period. So that's the response from candidate Clausen. So pretty bold response there.
He's more of a libertarian, Clausen is. He's
I
been here before.
Could have guessed by that response there.
He used to work for one of the major networks.
Clausen Pickles?
You used to work for who?
One of the major TV networks, CNN or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he related to Clausen Pickles?
I don't know. No,
Spelled
differently. Spelled
Oh,
differently.
darn it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It's like claw.
I'd vote for him for his Clausen Pickles.
There you go. Chad's got a strong voting.
You're cool with weed, and your family's all down with pickles.
All right, moving on here. Candidate Pfeiffer. Their response to would they be willing to protect medical marijuana, the patient in Michigan. Their response: I understand voters voted on this issue. With that being said, you take things and instead of looking to repeal things, you make laws better. Now, here's where I disagree with the medical marijuana issue. It makes it real easy. There's no governing laws, so if I get a backache, you can go get a medical marijuana card. I disagree with that. My son growing up, I don't want him around that environment. I don't want him going to a coffee shop and get around that issue. I'm quoting here from his quote. So I want things, if this is what the citizens have voted on, then I agree with that. But now let's talk about putting legislation in place where we can actually get the medicine into proper patients' hands that actually need it and not just create a phase of the new 60s of everyone smoking marijuana. So that was from candidate Pfeiffer. All right, and then we have candidate Phelps. Lastly, their response: I support the current law right now as it is. It was over 60% yes votes on that initiative. It's more than likely that they may have another initiative on the ballot in 2014 to decriminalize it. And I think we just need to look at that when it comes up. But the national polls are showing more and more people are in favor of that. I think that when we do look at decriminalizing it, there may be positive benefits to the government when not being forced to imprison certain population or certain people for smaller amounts of the use of marijuana. I think that overall the voters said their piece, and we really shouldn't get in the way of trying to overturn that proposal. So,
my God, actually a politician saying that people have a right to choose for themselves. That's kind of unusual.
I like that stance. Certainly,
Michael Phelps' brother?
Might be with some relation. I just never understood this for politicians. You're supposed to work for us. We're telling you overwhelmingly to do this. You're thinking you have better reasons to not do what we're telling you to. Why the hell are they keeping their jobs? They keep on doing consistently against what we say to do. Yet people vote for these people over and over again, the same people.
I just like how the one guy's like, I don't want my son going to coffee shops and having pot. Yes, you'd much rather have your son drive down to the hood and buy drugs.
And another thing is too, most of these people who go
I mean,
so self-righteous stuff
that's
like
like
that.
pretty much what you're
Are
saying.
people, I don't know about particularly about Pfeiffer. He's been here before talking to Mr. Moss, but I just can't. Okay, we've talked. We've talked. This has been a referendum. We voted on it. Why can't you guys just go along with what we wanted? You guys can't constantly think you got better intelligence than we do. You don't.
I agree, John. I mean,
I'm sick of it.
I don't know these candidates personally. I've not spoke to them, so I couldn't tell you exactly, what angle they're coming from, other than the response here. But I mean, it certainly seems like candidate Pfeiffer has a definite opinion on, what is currently going on with the program. The quote here is, let's talk about putting legislation in place where we can actually get the medicine into proper patients' hands that actually need it. That kind of rhetoric right there certainly is responsive of an opinion that's saying, hey, I don't really believe the way that it's working right now is proper and people are abusing it, so on and so forth. I think that the candidate Phelps here represents more of the type of person I want to see in government, one that's basically saying, hey, look, I'm looking at what the voters are saying, what the people are saying, and I think that we need to just follow along with what they're asking for. And, I think that you're right. It's time that we started having political candidates, or at least people getting in front of the public, in that representative seat, representing us, instead of just sitting there and enforcing their own opinions or what they think, are based on, things that they feel personally. They're there to represent the people, not to sit there and to make their own decisions based on what they feel.
Well, it goes back to this thing about our visions for the future. Like Clinton used to use that. Bill Clinton used to use that rhetoric a lot. My vision. You know what? You're not the centralized planner that I wanted. I don't believe in centralized planning. I let people do what they want to do within reason, and then you just have laws to make sure there's going to have to be extremes on that. That's about it. But I don't like this idea of whenever somebody says they have a vision for me, it's like that gets my hackles up, man, because it pisses me off. Because I mean, I could see my own future, or I could try to develop my own future, but some idiot trying to say he's got visions, I don't buy into that crap. The only person I knew had visions, the only people were dropping acid all the time, and I sure to hell won't trust them with major decisions for my future. It's stupid. I'm sick of hearing that crap.
Well, wasn't the 60s, everyone refers like, oh, it's like the 60s. Wasn't the 60s, like, that wasn't really like the big weed era. The weed era has been like forever. It wasn't the 60s more like the psychedelic era?
Yeah, that from what I've seen it, yeah. I mean, I was.
So, I mean, you really can't compare it back then, like, oh, this is 60s all over again. Like, no. It's more actually like probably like the 80s, because all your kids are doing heroin nowadays.
So the music now sucks, but the clothes are a little bit better. So they can't get everything working and firing all cylinders at once. But I was around for this. I was born in '63, so I remember quite a bit of it. And it wasn't great. It wasn't. It was like, what the hell happened kind of figure. But
that's the thing I still think funny is everyone always brings up their kids. Like, I understand everyone's always like, oh, I don't want my kids. But, like, the biggest issue right now in Michigan, like, the biggest drug issue in Michigan, period, is what? Opiates. Straight up and down. Pills, heroin. Kids are shooting up heroin left and right. It is the biggest problem in Michigan. So, like, I just find that funny that people are still using the weed thing. It's like, oh.
Okay, I don't think weed's harmless. I mean, I don't think it is. I don't think anything. You could drown in water, okay?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But if you look at the facts that it is the most studied substance. And I was total prohibitionist till like 10, 12 years ago. I told you that. But, I mean, if you just look at it, the arguments don't hold water anymore, that the prohibitionist attitude towards marijuana. It doesn't hold water anymore. It really doesn't. We tried it. It's failed. It's cost us thousands of people's lives, billions of dollars in enforcement. And and they're all surrendering more of our rights. We've given the government right to do anything they want to do to us under the disguise of this war on drugs. And what is it? We still got people using. I mean, let's face it. Kids are dropping dead in the suburbs now of heroin.
But we got methadone clinics, though.
Oh yeah, methadone. Yeah, just give them a pure method. Give them a pure drug.
But it's legal.
Yeah.
We want to help them.
Yeah, it's the same effects. They got the same kind of possibility for poisoning them, but.
No, but it is the same thing. It's just government released heroin.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I keep I'm sorry, but today.
From a dispensary.
Yeah.
And a different term of dispensary.
Yeah, it's a medical procedure or medical treatment.
Have you seen those places?
No.
The clinics? It's like they're like the ones in Grand Rapids. I live near a few of them. Like if you live in like the old town of Grand Rapids, it's where all the Victorian style houses and stuff are. You like college kids living in there. Like every so many blocks, you'll see like a little medical clinic, and it says like wherever some weird name dispensary, and like you go by them, and like in the morning they'll be like lined up with kids, like just sitting out there waiting to get their stuff, and then they go do their stuff, and it's like wow. And I just always blew my mind how people do that. Like they could go get messed up, have like a rocky night with their buddies doing a bunch of drugs. And then they're like, all right, now I'm going to go get some free drugs from the state. Yeah. And then they go to the state. It's ridiculous. Like that's like the biggest habit I've never understood.
They legalize this stuff. People could buy it on the open market. It'd be a boon to the economy. They're still going to do it. As it is now, it's a drain on the economy. And it's also putting people in prison. Basically, filling the prisons full of people who are basically just, the only crime is doing something the politicians don't agree with.
We don't put them in prison. We put weed people in prison. We let heroin users go on the streets and go to methadone clinics for free.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, we don't lock them up. They're allowed to wander the street, and then they can go do heroin at night, and then when they need more methadone, they can come get it from us for free at our little clinics that the state provides for them that your tax money pays for. They bust the people who have, like, a little bit of weed over their limit or something, or, like, if you got, like, if you don't have a card and you got, like, a half ounce of weed and you get pulled over, I'm sure you're probably going to go to jail more likely than a heroin user.
Yeah.
Because a heroin user ain't going to have no money, or even probably have anything to even, like, to give while he's in jail. He probably can't work or anything. So they're like, oh, yeah, just put him back in the street, let him wander around. He's a waste of society. And then he goes to methadone clinic the next day. So he went to jail, got arrested, got let go, and then goes to methadone clinic the next day, all in your tax dollar. And those are the ones that are allowed to wander free.
You see that meme that's on the Facebook? It's if you want to take care of our older people, put them in prison. They have dental care, they have medical care. They get spent more on prisoners per year than they do the old people in the old folks' homes.
You
they
get
get
dental
better
care in
care.
prison?
Prisoners get better care.
No, that's a problem.
And our prioritization in this country, the priorities are just totally.
Wait, you get dental care in prison?
Well, and that's what I think.
Well, they do. They get opium in prison. I mean,
dude, you didn't get dental care with Obamacare.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're gonna get. It's a day of sunshine in this country now. That's it's fully implemented. Yeah. Okay.
Well, what's that about? Like, isn't like 30-some states aren't even like rocking with Obamacare? They're like refusing to follow the program.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I mean, there's all kinds. Well, you can't even register for it. You go to the website. It's down all the time.
Yeah, well, we're going to get on Obamacare again this week.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to go on that. Well, you know what?
Obama the show.
The sad part is we're going to be talking about this forever, though. And then once people start getting on the website, we're going to have a whole nother show where we're like, yeah, guess what? Fuck Obamacare again. Fart Obamacare again. Sorry. Censor myself.
I think you're going to, when tax returns come around again, you're going to have people in uproars. They'll find out like what they're getting penalized for.
Well, it's going to be free, and he's going to give us gas money and to pay our mortgages off. For sure. Obama himself is going to do this.
I'm just wondering what the next president's going to do on like whoever the next president's going to be. Like how many things he's going to appeal. And
do you know what they're actually working on? They're working on legislation to let him run a third term. They're working on a legislation to let Barack Obama be have a third term.
You can't. It's in our Constitution.
They're working on repealing that. I'm serious. There's groups out there. It's in the Congress. They're working this bill to try to allowed him a third term.
Man, America is becoming a joke. Like it's becoming like Hollywood reality show. It seems like.
Well, the thing is, after his daughters get out of college, they'll just assume the presidency, and they'll have to fight out between Chelsea, because Chelsea wants to be president next. So basically, we'll just do away with the electoral process and just give it to a handful of people because they're already in power already. The Clintons and the Obamas, and it was just like the Bushes had it for a couple, several, 8, 12, 14 years, something like that.
How about Hill Dog? She wants to get in the office.
Who?
Hill Dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be Hillary for a while probably, and then it's going to be, if it's not Obama, if they don't push it through, it'll be Hillary, and then it'll be one of Hillary's daughter maybe, because she's of age now to run, and then it'll be one of Obama's daughters, and then
no,
Biden's son.
We're missing it. What about this? What if Obama doesn't run for a third, but his wife runs? And then he is the vice president who actually plays the puppet strings. So he's like,
he'd be the first man.
He'd be the first man, yeah. And she'd be the first.
He can go to the hospital openings and stuff like that, and the clinic openings and stuff, right?
No, but he'd still be really the president. I'm saying he'd still be really president, though. But this would be his way to get in there for another 2 more years. Is get her voted in, and then he runs the back set. So really, that could be their way in. Maybe that's
presidents are elected for 4 years.
4 years, not 2 years.
I meant 8 years. Sorry, 4.
4.
No, 2 terms.
Yeah, 2 terms though.
I got you. All right. Hey, all right. Let's get back on track here. We've got actually some more information for you.
Sorry, guys.
We're not going to solve the presidential woes today on the show. It's just,
Darn it.
back on the docket here, there's been a bill that's been reintroduced in the Michigan legislature. It's Senate Bill 1349, and this is very similar to bill to what we saw created last year. This is the pharmaceutical medical marijuana bill, for lack of a better name. Some people are calling it the anti-local option bill, whatever. But basically what this is we talked about this on our previous shows, the Prairie Plant Bill. I think that's probably the name I like the best for it. But this is a state-licensed medical marijuana production facilities where basically they would have a new type of term. The term would be pharmaceutical-grade cannabis that would be exclusively manufactured by these facilities. And then the distribution of the cannabis would be allowed through pharmacies. The cannabis would be sold directly from the facilities to the pharmacies, and then the pharmaceutical-grade cannabis would then be given to patients. But this is basically a bill that's been drafted up. It's been lobbied up by Prairie Plant Health Systems, which is the same corporation that basically runs the cannabis program for Canada. And this is the same one that you heard about previously, where they have the mines up north, looking to try to get this bill put through. The bill is contingent on the federal rescheduling of cannabis, at least a downgrade, at least down to number 2, if not farther. But should that occur, then this bill has already been ran through our legislature here in Michigan now for a second time. The bill has been put forth by Roger Kahn, who's a senator up in the Saginaw area, and also has support of a couple other senators. Senator Jones, I believe, is one of them, and there's another senator as well that's on the bandwagon here. But there's been some stories, rumors of different legislators being curtailed away or to the mines so they could go see the operations. I think there's been stories of them actually going all the way up to Canada to review some of the production facilities that are used up there, kind of the wine and dine program that we've seen so often with other lobbyist organizations. But there would be no caregivers allowed under this system. Patients would not be allowed to produce their own.
What?
They would not be allowed to transfer between themselves at all. And basically this would kind of gut the current patient caregiver system that is what we know today. So this would definitely a big change in how medical marijuana would be conducted here in the state if this were to pass. Again, this is contingent on the federal rescheduling of medical marijuana or of marijuana in general, should that ever occur. Prairie Plant Systems is a very well-funded organization, very large corporation. Like I said, they are the corporation now which will be doing, as of next spring in Canada, they'll be taking care of 100% of the patients in Canada, as they've been able to override their systems in Canada and to now prevent Canadians from being able to produce their own or from having caregivers be involved. They're looking to do the same thing here in Michigan. So this is the second time this bill's come up. They're not stopping. They're backed up by lobbyists who are getting in there and getting the job done. They've got this bill introduced. It's on the table. And this is the kind of thing that we don't want to see here in Michigan. I think that you have to recognize that patients need to be able to have access. And they're saying, well, they would have access. They'd be able to get it through a pharmacy. Well, obviously it'd be very limited access.
And then plus your quality or amount you need, like if you grow your own.
Well, it's limited delivery methods, I think, is one of the things you have to look at right now. Patients have the ability to be able to produce or get from a caregiver any method that they see fit. They have the ability to try out different forms to find out what's going to work best for them. And, in this case here, where it's going to be commercially produced, corporately produced, I think that that's certainly going to limit down the amount of options that patients have. Certainly could increase the cost. Definitely, there's a few other things in the bill that patients would be concerned about. One of the things is each patient would have to have, or it would give, I guess I should say, would give the patient's information to locally enacted law enforcement, name, address, so on and so forth. And, I think the other thing that we have to look at that is a concern is that there certainly has been a growth or an economy that's been established here in Michigan from having the patients and caregivers exist the way that they do. Mm-hmm. And, this type of act here would just totally eradicate all of that. You've seen grocery stores And you've seen patients and caregivers around Michigan step up now and form, local economies. And certainly it's helping, put jobs back out there, putting growth back into the economy and so forth. This would take away all of that. And I think the most important thing it's going to take away is patients' ability to choose and to provide for themselves. So, this is the kind of bill here. It's a lofty bill. It's predicated on something that is not even being really talked about on a federal level. I know there's countless different court cases and petitions and so on and so forth to have marijuana rescheduled, and it is something that needs to be redone, but it's not something that's being taken seriously yet by the federal government. And I think for the senators in our state to consider this type of language, to have this type of legislation drawn up, to spend the time on it that they have, and so on and so forth, I think really speaks volumes as to
who's getting fed under the table.
Well, it just speaks volumes to the bureaucracy that's being conducted up at our state level. This is something that it's just completely.
It's all about the money, brother.
Oh yeah, and I think that if you're getting carted off to go see this cool trip or go to this next dinner or meal or whatever it is, the lobbyist will hand out to you, and you've got the time and energy to be able to do that. To me, it's just kind of disheartening that our legislature would even bother considering this type of option, knowing full well that it's not even feasible under the current regulations of federal guidelines.
Were these people were they even involved with like the positive parts of any of the legislation that went through recently, or being part of any of that?
Absolutely not. Most of the people that are involved in this current legislation have all been very vocal about their opposition to the current program. And at times have even been very vocal about their opposition to medical marijuana in general.
Sounds pretty shicey, but yet they're taking time out of their schedule to have these lavish trips that are given to them to go check out this, this business opportunity for our state that they're so against. It just kind of makes me like dumbfounded. Like, you're so against it, but yet you'll take all that time out. It's like, man, it just makes you wonder if they have like stock or something in that company.
Who knows?
We just got to do is, all you guys who are involved in medical marijuana thing here, as it goes on now, is just got to find a way of making buku bucks so you can get enough money so you can buy politicians. That's it. You just basically got to approach them saying, hey, we want to buy you.
Yeah.
We know you're for sale. Here, why don't you, here's the millions of dollars for you. Why don't you shut the hell up now?
The state of Michigan needs its own
now we're on board.
United Growers Union, you know what I'm saying, in a sense where it's not a union for regulating work and stuff like that, but more for lobbyists. You need to have some killer lobbyists in a sweet resort somewhere.
Well, to me, it just also seems hypocritical. Like you said, you have some of these politicians who have been vocal about their opposition to, cannabis as medicine, and then turn around and be all about this type of bill to where they're going and sponsoring it. One of the things they even have on here is that this particular bill doesn't even require an establishment of a prior relationship with the doctor and to the patient. That was so vehemently fought for here, for the current bill that we have.
Sounds like someone's getting paid. I bet if this deal goes through, I bet someone gets a brand new car for all their family members.
I'm serious.
I bet a few people do.
We just got to find a way of getting you guys to win the lotto, and then you can just get millions of dollars, and you can buy congressmen and senators like they're like the cheap bastards they really are. I mean, my opinion.
It also allows for the creation and distribution of synthetic marijuana. It was another part that was written into the bill. So probably for some of the types of distribution methods that they use for prairie plant systems. So I don't know. It really bums me out to see that our legislature is taking time on this sort of thing, and to also not consider the fact of the current economies and businesses that have sprung up around Michigan due to the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. To not take those into account, to not take the revenue that's been built from that into the state into account from that. And just to completely override that.
I'll tell you this much, you politicians, you're getting your money right now, and the only reason people are even here with your businesses still flourishing is because people have money to spend on stuff. If this kind of thing comes in, people ain't going to buy stuff from them. People are going to boycott that. I guarantee you half of the people in the state system will probably move right out of the state, go right to the next local state. You got Minnesota popping up next, you got Wisconsin working on stuff, you got Ohio and Indiana. I mean, it's not like...
Well, if they have their way, there would be no caregivers allowed. Patients would not be able to grow their own. And the only way to get their medication would be to go to the pharmacist.
I wouldn't buy it from them.
So, I mean, they're trying to kind of bring back prohibition in a way and then turn around and say, well, we're giving you what you want. You know,
I wouldn't
here's your
buy it from them
medication.
straight up. Never, ever.
You know, I'll play the devil's advocate. Even if somebody wanted to smoke marijuana just for sheer recreational use, no medical marijuana pretense or whatever, why are they fighting that so much? When they allow alcohol to be served, which is majorly devastating to people, devastating to our economy, and on a social level, weed probably wouldn't have it as bad of an impact. But now they're fighting it so vehemently. And basically, if you line their pockets, you know you're going to be having them on your side. I'm serious. You guys really got to approach that thing so you can look for these guys you can buy. So they'll shut the hell up and do your bidding. That's how this country has got. Now, these guys, Obama starts with $1 million as president. Now he's worth $14 million. I'd like to know his broker. So, I mean, this cannot be overlooked, that it's got to be payola that gets what done. Because, I mean, it's not the voice of the people. That's a load of crap. Okay, especially when we're talking about the medical marijuana here in Michigan. So, I mean, we're tolerating these people doing this. And that's what angers me the most. We keep on voting the same people over and over again.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there. Your vote counts. You got to vote. You got to get educated about who's in there. And
Yep, like the new vote coming up here in Flushing area in Genesee County. Make sure you don't vote for, Michelle Pfeiffer's brother. Don't vote for Pfeiffer. Michael Phelps' brother seems like a good candidate, and then the other dude who's...
Pat Clausen.
And who's the other dude? Oh, yeah, Clausen.
Pat Clausen.
Like Clausen Pickles, but he's not the Pickle family dudes, but he's still cool.
I've heard Pat talk before. I think you'd like Pat. He's like very much bored for legalization. So, I mean, he is. But I like the way, I know Phelps said it, though. I like the way...
We just need some common sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be rude here, but a lot of these
we
older...
need people in office that are going to do what their constituents ask and not what their lobbyists are paying them to do.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and John's bringing up some points there, and it's just one of the things that's really disheartening about this is that we have a governing body in place that's supposed to be, you know, by the people, for the people, and they aren't. They're by the paycheck and for the paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for whoever can cough up the most money to sponsor them for their next election. So they get to that next position, that's who they listen to. And that's not the way this country is supposed to work.
They're double dipping bastards. We're paying them, and then they're getting paid by the lobbyists. They walk. I mean, come on, guys, look at them. Follow the money. They start out. They spend millions of dollars a year to get elected every so many years. Why would you do that if you're not regaining it? Well, if you look at their personal income statements, which are supposed to be available to us, they make quite a bit of money.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
more money than we paid them. So where the hell is that money coming from? Well, they say they raise money for the campaign. Then they
Special
get to keep it when they don't
interest.
spend it. Their own personal interest, man, has come before what we're supposed to want. And that's
Mhm.
not the way it's supposed to be.
It's not, but it's the way it is, unfortunately. Good old America.
There's an interesting, and thank you to Rick Thompson for putting out some of those finer points I was just reading you to from. You can check out his stuff, Compassion Chronicles.
Nice.
It's good information there. This is from O'Shaughnessy's. O'Shaughnessy's is a medical print that comes out quarterly, I believe. Specializes in marijuana and so forth. This was a kind of interesting article. Is FDA confirmed CBD is a Schedule I drug. I guess there was numerous inquiries about, you know, hey, is CBD considered? Because if you look at the federal scheduling for marijuana, it specifically lists out THC as being, you know, a Schedule I drug. And so by right, obviously people turning back around and saying, well, hey, how about CBD? You know, now we know that this is a different form, a different type of cannabidiol, or cannabinoid, excuse me. Cannabidiol is what CBD is. But FDA confirmed, no, CBD is definitely a Schedule I drug. Which I guess to me it doesn't surprise me at all. I think when they said marijuana is a Schedule I drug, they meant all of it. You know, everything that comes out of it, so on and so forth. The interesting thing is that we talked about this last week on the show. There's a new drug on the market that's being tested, Epidiolex, excuse me if I'm not saying that right, Epidiolex, I believe, which is a specific CBD drug. It's manufactured by GW Pharmaceuticals.
GW.
And has been authorized to run some trial testings.
What?
And specifically on people that have seizures, and even in some cases on minors.
What?
So here you have on one hand the FDA saying, well, no, this is definitely a Schedule 1 drug, and then on the other hand, they're coming out and allowing big GW, again, people with money, to go ahead and conduct trial testing.
So how do I get an approval try testing of anything I want to try?
You're going to have a lot of money, apparently, and work for...
Like, no, officer, it's all right. I was approved of one trial test.
Now, again, this is CBD. It's not psychoactive. It's obviously medicinally useful if it's been, even synthesized and broken down in its singular form by pharmaceutical companies. We know that it's positive effects on people who have seizures and quite a few other types of disorders. It's been very useful for. So, but no, it's a part of the marijuana plant. So FDA says no, still Schedule 1, but apparently we get the double standard here again, and
It's
allow.
good for the goose is not good for the gander.
Okay.
They get it all.
Interesting. So no surprise there. Just more of the same. There's some other stories out here I'll share with you real quick. This is from tokeofthetown.com. Check it out yourself. One of them that was come up here. Let's see here. Florida Supreme Court sets the dates for medical marijuana petition. We know that Florida is trying to get medical marijuana on the ballot for this next year.
They've been trying hard.
Yes, they have. The ACLU looks like they're having a lawsuit going on in Arizona on behalf of a 5-year-old. They're trying to get medical marijuana treatment for the 5-year-old that suffers from seizures. And the ACLU are fighting, asking the court to declare that the extracts are legal under the Medical Marijuana Act. So kind of similar to the case that we had here in Michigan, the Caruthers case. They're trying to say extracts of the plant are not protected by the law. Looks like they have the same kind of fight going on down here in Arizona. Interesting fight. So how could marijuana be considered legal for medical uses, but yet parts of the medical marijuana are not considered protected? Kind of silly there. So,
Well, they just want to make sure they got the right chemical compound. So now that the guy who just isolated that is paid off the right politician, so they can make sure that's protected. But and then taking it away from the system the way it is now, because they want to make sure they make as much money for their bosses as possible.
yeah, possibly.
Yeah. And that's what all it is. It's got to be.
I think you're right, John. I think that a lot of times they're trying to limit people's ability to produce or to find out what's useful, so that it keeps the doors open for the big companies to come in and say, oh, well, here, we've got that for you, and it's all regulated, tested, double-blind placebo, FDA approved, blah, 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 and you can get it covered by your insurance company, and here you go. When they could have just produced that in their own backyard, virtually almost cost-free, and been providing it to themselves all along. And the sad part about it is that you've got people that are suffering from these conditions now, today, tomorrow, all along, and they have to sift through this bureaucratic process, just wait it out essentially, and suffer it out. In the meantime, when they could have been taking care of it themselves, or at least attempting to find out what would take care of it for themselves, and they're trying to get them blocked legally from being able to do this when they already have a law that says they could. Splitting hairs over these things, it seems like a terrible thing to do, especially when it's in the face of these people who are suffering, especially from things like seizures and other types of ailments out there.
Well, another thing is too, if they isolate a compound and they just give that to the patient, that actually can have a devastating effect. But when it's taken in its entirety, there's natural buffers within it, just like sodium chloride, table salt. If you try to take those two by itself, it could kill you. But the two together somehow, the regular salt somehow neutralize the effects, and you can have salt pretty deep, normally. So the isolating stuff actually might make it more potentially lethal or harmful. So I mean that's what they're doing. They want to isolate something, one particular component, and then that could be like just like anything else when it's like too large a dose.
And the thing about cannabis is, even if you do isolate those compounds, the nice thing is it is still benign. There's nothing about the cannabis, whether you break it apart or keep it together, it's ever going to cause somebody to have an overdose experience or something that's going to be fatal.
So they're admitting, even if they're saying if they're isolating one particular thing and it's even given to a large extent, then there is no real chance of overdosing. So they're basically admitting their fears and suspicions about marijuana itself is ungrounded.
It's ungrounded and unfounded, and it doesn't hold any weight at all. And that's one of the damning things about this is, and in fact, actually, some of these types of compounds that they're trying to isolate here in the medical marijuana business, like CBD, that's one of the ones that's been shown that it doesn't have psychoactive effects. And so here they are trying to use this specifically for medicinal purposes, but yet they have court cases like out here in Arizona saying, well, hey, you've broken this down into a form that isn't protected by law, therefore you don't have the right to do that or to use that. And there's just no good reason legally or even sensibly for why they should be trying to prevent people from seeking these types of medical treatments. So this is certainly a damning thing there. So, all right. I think there's a couple other little things will pop out real quick before we sign off. Looks like New Jersey's got a second location for medical marijuana. Wisconsin has a bill introduced that would legalize dispensaries and home cultivation. I think there's also in Pennsylvania, looks like lawmakers are being urged to pass medical marijuana there. So
Nice.
looks like once again, as we talked about previously, there's quite a few different states now. We've got Florida, Wisconsin, number of other states out there. New Jersey's getting expansion. Pennsylvania. It's a matter of time. And I think that as more and more people are finding out on a national level how this can be used medicinally, more of these states are going to be looking forward to passing further medical marijuana laws to allow people the access to that. I think that once it gets passed, is the devil's in the details. And as you see, like in states of Arizona or here in Michigan, where we have the program constantly being challenged by further legislation, I think what we have to remember is that these people are looking to get access to this medication, and that we need to have legislation that's going to allow them that access and not restrict it, for sure.
Exactly.
So, all right. I think that's it for what we've got this week. I know it's always good to be here at flinttalkradio.com.
Yeah.
John, we definitely appreciate your commentary and your input, as always. Thank you.
Commented on the show to apologize for that. So
That's all right. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so everyone have a safe Devil's Night tonight and happy Halloween tomorrow.
Yes, please be careful out there trick-or-treating.
Yes, don't eat all your candy in one night. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
All right?
Right on. All right. Hope you guys come out on Friday to the Halloween party there at the club. And hopefully we'll also see you on Saturday for our chili cook-off. Looking forward to it. We'll warm you up after your trick-or-treating and get
Chili
some good
cook-off
nutrition
time.
in you. For sure. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. And hopefully catch you here next week on the Genesee County Compassion Club Show. Woo!